Excuse me, Shalom. Coming to the name of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rachach Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone, who taught me this truth, and salutations unto the Akim that continue to push the word in truth and in sincerity. It's the brother Yoram Shamar, and I'm basically out. It's like a walk and talk, and it's raining a bit, but you know, the scripture says, "Be instant in season and out of season," because really should be starting to get warm out here in England, you know, but it's still very cold, and it's still raining and that. But you know, nevertheless, man, I was just thinking in the spirit we wanted to, get into a particular topic, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this video, man. But yeah, bro, for shy, for how, bro, for shy. Basically, man, I was meditating upon Matthew 17th chapter, man. Also, I want to say, Salah can forgive me. Excuse me, man. I've got my hood slightly on. Because it's raining, man. Okay. But that's yeah. So, anyways, I want to talk about the transfiguration, man. In Matthew, the 17th chapter. Let me see something there, man. Yeah. In Matthew, the 17th chapter, man. Okay. Now it says that Yahweh Shai. Let me wipe the phone a little bit. Yahweh Shai, on the 6th day, he took, the 6th. That's the spiritual day. He took them on the 6th day, because 6 represents the number of a man, and this involved men. But on the 6th day, he took with him Peter, James, and John, and he took them into the mountain, man. Okay, and basically there he transfigured, right? The Lord transfigured, and he was covered in light. You can go and read the account. He was covered in light. He was covered in light, and his garment was white, man. It became like white, and they saw the Lord in his heavenly glory, man. Okay, and pretty much who appeared with the Lord? Moses and Elijah. Okay, and then the disciples that he had taken with him, basically said, let's build 3 altars, one for each of you, but then basically, when you read it, I'm not gonna break the whole verse down. When you get into it, there was no need for that, because the reason why Moses and Elijah had appeared and Yahweh Shai in the midst of them was to prove that above, because what did Elijah represent? Elijah, he represented the seed of the prophets, and Moses represented the law. Okay, But there was no need for the for three tabernacles, because Yahushua being in the middle represented that he was above the prophets, you know, and he's above the law. Okay, he's the encapsulation of the law, but he's indeed above it. So there was no need for the tabernacles, man. And when you read it, it says that he spoke with them. Okay. Now the reason I want to mention that is because, you know, the breakdown doesn't say, or the account doesn't say that the Lord took all of the disciples with him. You know, he only took a handful. He took who? Peter, James, and John. Okay. You know, essentially they were the top three of the disciples, man. Okay. They were the top of out of the disciples who became the apostles. They were the top three, man. Okay. And there's certain things that only men that are um, at a certain level could understand or were exposed to, man. Okay, you know, because that lesson was for them. Obviously, it was for all of the believers, but at the time, it had to be revealed to them. The understanding, man. You know that Yahushua is above the prophets. Okay, and he's above the law. Now, the disciples at the time, of course, they knew about reincarnation, but they didn't know who they were in the reincarnation. Now, it says there that he took with him Peter, James, and John, and who appeared either side. He took them into the mountain, but who appeared either side onto him was Elijah and Moses. Now, it's deep because what the Lord essentially did was it was a hologram. Okay, you know, because what you've got to understand is, what we have to understand is that the Lord created the concept of time itself. Okay, all right. The name of the Father, Yahweh, He the existing one. So He's not Yahweh Shai is not subject to time. Okay, and the reason I mentioned that is because Peter, if you compare it in the spirit, is Moses. Okay, all right, which is also David, right? So, you know, and I've heard people say that before. That proves reincarnation is wrong, because how can Peter be there, you know, watching, but then the Lord apparently speaking to Moses and Elijah? It's because Yahushua, when he changed in that moment and he transfigured, he no longer became subject to time. Okay, meaning that it was a hologram of Moses, and it was a hologram of Elijah, and the Lord basically did a live exhibition of time travel, and he spoke to them in that lifetime. But apparently, in reality, Peter watched. So really, he didn't know this, of course, but he was essentially watching himself. And then they disappeared. And the lesson in all of that is that above the law and above the prophets, Yahushua is. Okay, you know. But as I said, the Lord only took Peter, James, and John because it was for them to receive that. There's certain, and this is why the scripture says, "Meddle not with things," roughly paraphrasing, "Meddle not with things that are above thee," because like when you try and get into deep things or things that are not for you, it destroys you, man. You know, it destroys you. This is why the scripture says about first getting the milk, then you move on to the hard meat, man. You know, because it's human nature. It's always fascinating to see the greater. It's always fascinating to see uh, um, to see more. You know, like when the Mosai sent, really it was Yahweh Shai that came down in the chariot, but even in the scriptures it says Yahweh, because Yahweh Shai is indeed the invisible power, image of the. Indeed, Yahweh Shai is the image of the invisible power, which we know in Colossians 1 and 15, I believe. But the Lord said, "Get thee down unto the people before they break forth to see the Lord, before they break, before they come up the mountain to see the Lord, and He break forth upon them." Okay, so it's in human nature to always want to know more, but there's certain things that you have to accomplish and certain levels we have to attain before we know more. Okay, it may be your lot to know more. It may be your lot to experience more. Okay, or it might just not be the time to know more. All right, but basically, how do we get to that stage? Is by studying. Okay, through prayer and fasting. Because when you show the Lord, when we show the Lord, that we're serious, it says, "I will sup with thee, he with me, and I with him. I'll be in him, and he'll be in me." You know, okay. Because I've been going through the Gospels lately, and you see how Yahushua was harder on certain men. It's because there was potential there, or there was potential in all men, but there was something that needed to be instructed in different measures out in the disciples. For example, Yahushua was harder on Peter than he was on Thomas. Now, is Thomas less a man of the Lord than Peter? No, but their ranks are different. They're still elect men, but their ranks are different, man. And the point is, that some men get it harder, because there's essentially uh, more in you, or a greater stake in you, a greater office in you. All right, you know, and that's not to say, oh well, he ain't as much, so you just leave him by the wayside. No, the Lord still got onto Thomas, you know, but at the end of the day, different measures with different men. The same thing as faith, man. You know, this account also, um, reminds me of the scripture where it says, basically teach the word onto, basically teach the word. I forget how it goes, but you teach the word, man. We'll wrap it up anyway. But yeah, man, there's levels to this, and it's not that we can't attain it. It's just that we gotta, you know, give to the Lord so He can give unto us, man. You know. But yeah, for now I'm just gonna wrap it up, man. Should